morning I am going to make a very large batch of waffle mixture. And what I'm going to do here is make a whole bunch of waffles, let them cool down, and then put them in the freezer. And at that point I can take one or two out every morning if I want, or when I want, and either let them thaw a little bit and put them in the toaster, or put them in my little toaster oven at 200 degrees and get them toasted up, and they're just like they were freshly made. But in this case what I'm doing is the job all at once, so I don't have to do this every morning, and it works. Okay. Now if you want to use buttermilk in your recipe and you don't have any buttermilk, the easiest way to make a buttermilk substitute is to add a bit of either vinegar or lemon juice. I've always preferred the lemon juice for some reason. So I'm going to start off with 2 cups of milk, and I think I will turn this into a buttermilk type. I've done both. I've done it straight just milk and also buttermilk, and to me there's very little difference between one and the other. Okay, and to make my buttermilk substitute, I've got 2 cups of milk there, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then just let it sit there for a few minutes. Okay. Okay, so this has sat for a few minutes, and you can see that it is curdled just a little bit. Okay, I'm ready to add 3 eggs. Oops. And approximately a tablespoon of butter. Okay, so there are all my wet ingredients. Now I'm going to grab a second bowl. And I'm going to start off with 2 cups of flour. And this is a ½ cup measurement. So we get 4 of these. Meanwhile, my iron is heating up. Okay, and I also want approximately a teaspoon of baking powder and perhaps ½ a teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, those are my dry ingredients. And the butter is staying a bit firm because it is put into the cold milk, but that's fine. We'll mix that in. Okay, so now we're going to mix the wet and the dry. And I may add more flour depending on the consistency, but I normally start off with 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of milk. And this looks reasonable. Perhaps another half cup of flour. Yes. So that's 2.5 cups of flour. Now, some people like it a bit runnier. The 2 cups would be adequate. Now this is still fairly lumpy. And I'll stir it up a little bit and get back to you when it's... Okay, at this point my old iron is very hot. My batter is ready. There are a few little lumps in it, but that's okay. Now I also like to put ingredients right into the batter, but I'm not going to mix it into the batter. I'll put it on the waffle mix when it goes in the iron. That way I can decide which ones I want to have. Yeah, this might be a little bit on the thick, but it's fine. Now I could add a bit more milk to make it a little thinner, but I'm going to add a few nuts and raisins. I've got pecans and raisins there. And yes, I will add just a bit more milk in that to thin it out a bit. Okay, this first one that I made that was a little bit of thick batter is ready. And I'm going to pull it out and cool it off. And I have added about another 1/4 cup of milk to this batter, which I think is about right. So it's a total of 2.5 cups of flour and 2¼ cups of milk, and it gives me the consistency I'm looking for. Now I have decided that I am going to toss in my pecans and most of the cranberries here, since I'm the one who eats all this anyway, and I prefer it right in the mix. Actually, I'll add all of those. And that way they're baked right into the waffles. And you can add whatever you like, or have them plain. It's really up to you. But they do cook into the batter nicely, into the waffle nicely. Okay, so my iron is ready for the next one. And yes, that is spreading just a little bit better. Okay. So when that one's ready, we'll come back and I'm going to have the first one for breakfast. Oh, and by the way, it is absolutely perfect. Would have been fine to have the batter that thick, but I like it just a little bit thinner. So that's my breakfast. Okay, so this waffle is ready to come out of the iron. And I'm going to put it on the cooling rack there and put in the next one. Now, I'm going to let these cool thoroughly, and once they are no longer hot, I will put them on a cookie sheet to freeze them. And after they're frozen, then we can put them in a freezer bag and put them in the freezer to take out anytime I want. Now I'm going to show you that yes, I can either leave them whole or split them up into the 4. That will allow them to cool quicker. Now this is the last one from my first batch from my breakfast. So I'll continue along this process until they're all made, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, another batch is ready to come off. And yes, they are hot. And more to go on. Looks like we'll get at least 5 or 6 out of this, which is nice. Like doing a little bit of extra when you're doing it and freezing them and taking it out later saves you having to do the job later. It works. Okay, the last half is in the iron cooking. Didn't make a full one, but it will make a half one. So we ended up with 2, 4, 6 because I ate one. So 6.5 is what this batter mixture made up. And this will allow me to, as I say, to have breakfast a number of times and snack throughout the day if I want. And I don't have to eat a whole one, which is great. So now they're just cooling. And when they have finished cooling, I will put them in a freezer bag and freeze them. I won't vacuum seal them because it'll crush them. Even after they're frozen, I don't think it would be good to vacuum seal that, and I don't think that they'll last that long anyway. Well, good morning everyone. This is Tony from Her Homestead Skills, and I have just made a huge batch of waffles, and it is my method of showing you how you can save time and energy and have quick food available to you without having to go through a lot of effort. So I find that I do that even when I make lasagna. I will make a number of trays and freeze them. There are certain things that freeze very well, and bread and pasta products are in that category. So I take full advantage of that, and whenever I want a quick snack, I can just go to the freezer, pull out a quarter waffle, or without having to mix up a batch and pull out the waffle iron and heat everything up. So it's all ready for me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a great day.